My name's Dave Thorpe and I come from sunny Devon.
So, we are here with the legend, Dave Thorpe. So, let's jump straight into it. How has your season been here this year?
We've had an exceptionally good season. Conrad and Josh, Callum and Charlie have ridden very well. Obviously, Conrad and Josh have excelled. They've gone 1-2 most weekends. Harry put up a really good fight. It's been a MX1 British Championship and MX Nationals has been a really satisfying season for the team.
How long have they each been at the team?
This is Conrad's first year with us, first time on a MX1 bike. First year back for Josh, although he has been with us previously on an MX2 bike.
And when was he on the MX2 bike with you?
Now you're asking. I think it's pre-pandemic. So it was probably 2017-18, if I'm right. I could well be wrong.
If I'm correct, I believe that your best years were like 84, 85, 86. Were they like, who in those like mid 80s? How did it feel being the champion? Like, you're British and you're beating all these European guys that raced these tracks, like the Belgian guys racing at Belgium, and I'm pretty sure you won that.
Yeah, I did. Yeah.
Beating the Belgians in the home soil, which they grew up on. What did it feel like?
Well, for me, I had a lot of following in the UK. So when we had British Championships, Grand Prix in England, and Grand Prix abroad, I had a tremendous amount of support from the fans, which was fantastic at the time. And I also developed a really good fan base of French, Belgian, Italian, German. Had a lot of supporters abroad. So racing in that time, it was quite special. Not to say it's not special now, but the crowd, they were a lot closer to the track. There just seems to be a little bit more atmosphere. There wasn't so much health and safety as there is now. So I thoroughly enjoyed it, but I also enjoy modern day racing as well.
I forgot what the track was, but it's in Belgium and it's got the bridge that leads to the cafe in the final corner.
Yeah, that's called Namur. So that's a historical track. For me, it was really special because I was also, even though I was young racing, I was very aware of the 70s and 60s riders. So I saw the history of Namur right from the beginning. So the first time I rode there, I knew I was on an iconic venue. And thereafter, every time I went back, it was always special.
So if you've watched some videos and you've dug back into history for the viewers, you might know what was it, like 85, 86, where you had those like handmade machines from Japan. What did they feel like compared to just like your stock bike?
Well, it's quite interesting. It's a good question. What you've got to remember is in the 80s, the bikes were very special. They were handcrafted, as you quite rightly said, but they were a long way away from the production bike at that time. Whereas today's factory bikes, actually, if you get in the nitty-gritty of them, they are still very special. But a production bike has now closed that gap to the factory bikes a lot. So the difference is still there, but it's not such a big gap as it was in the 80s.
So if you were to go back to one race and change one decision that could change the entirety of that race, what would that race be?
I'm not sure really. I've had a few crashes in races where I wish I didn't crash, but the reality is my dad always used to say to me, Dave, if you don't crash every now and then, you're not going fast enough. So sometimes I made silly mistakes in races. French Grand Prix in 1987, I made a very silly mistake and a crash. There's lots of little elements of my years that I made basic mistakes that someone of my level shouldn't. But that said, that is because I was always trying to push those boundaries.
So in those years, who was your main competitor?
I had a few really. I had Andre Malherbe, Eric Deboers, George Obey, Håkan Karlqvist, um, Kurt Nickel. There's a lot of riders that were very capable of winning Grand Prix in those days. So there was always one of us, or two of us, or three of us that were battling for the race wins.
Did you ever get picked for the Nations?
Yes, I've been picked on numerous occasions for the Nations. As a rider, as a team rider, I never won the Nations. We lost it by a point one year and a few points another year. I won individually at the Nations a few times, but I guess my biggest thing was in '94. I was team manager of the Nations team, and that team beat the Americans. They stopped their dominance for a very long time. So that was a proud moment for me. Even though I wasn't a rider, it was great to see the riders perform so well.
How long have you had your team?
I think this team, as a Honda team, has been since I think 2012. It's gone from Build Base to Crendon. We're very lucky in our teams. You know, we've got the introduction of the True 7 team now as well. We've got some fantastic partners behind us that have made everything possible for the riders to perform at the best that they can.
What is the True 7 team?
True 7 started out as an academy team, really. As it's evolved this year, it's, well, to be fair, it's been a great starting point for us, but going forward, we will change the structure of that team so it's just a little bit more efficient.
Thanks for your time.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
That was 5 minutes with the legend, Dave Thorpe.